Everything I say is alleged, my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Child, this Shirley Strawberry and her husband Ernesto scandal is just all over the place. I'm not going to be playing any of the phone calls, but I do have some things that stuck out. And at the end of the day, Shirley Strawberry's husband, he played the long game, okay? He got what he wanted, got this lady homeless, no money, almost jobless. But let's get into it. So I listened to those jail phone calls between Shirley Strawberry and her husband Ernesto. And it's just sad and very disappointing because these things do happen. But to hear how this man played Shirley Strawberry is so crazy. Now, they have been married for 9 years. And I just question, did you not see the signs, the red flags? Because a person cannot pretend for 9 years. The only thing I will say is maybe because Shirley Strawberry worked a lot and her job took her away for periods at a time. Maybe that can be an excuse, but some of this stuff had to surface in those 9 years. Okay? And unless he that good, he got the gift of gab and you believe the man is the head of the household. Well, look where he got you. But anyway, I feel like, he presented himself one way to Shirley, like maybe as a protector, him being reliable to her, and I say her in quotations. So I'm not going to be long. I'm not going to replay the calls, but there are some things that stuck out to me, and I wanted to discuss a little bit. First, Shirley sticking by her man, my man. I just wanted to know, what's the time frame from the time he got arrested to the time Shirley lost her truck, her home, and spending her money on these lawyers and had to move in with friends. Because for me, ain't no way I would be paying his attorney fees and I'm homeless. That just don't make no sense to me. Is love really that blind? Another thing that stuck out in the conversations was when she was discussing a conversation her and Steve had about basically distancing herself from her husband, aka saving herself. And her husband says, I can't bring you down because I'm down. If I have to sit here till you get yourself together, dude, you already brought her down. She's homeless. She don't got no cars to drive and her money is short. So what are you talking about? And you did all this behind her back, supposedly, okay? Anyway, house going, cars going. She's depleting her funds to pay for your attorney fees. She's homeless. You don't want to bring her down? You did, okay? And all Shirley can worry about is if he wanted a divorce because she's not ready for that. What? I was lost when she said that. You not mad? You not angry that you had to move out your house and live with your friends? Your truck was taken from you and you don't got no car. You not mad and you ain't questioning him? I found that very odd. Now, do I believe Shirley was believing in Ernesto in the beginning? Absolutely. Because she's in love. This her husband. Oh my God, what's going on? Do I believe Shirley knew about his past? Absolutely. But at what point did she stop believing him? Was it when the phone calls came out or she actually got the details of the charges and the proof? Because I'm confused in the timeline. She comes out on the radio show and says, she felt betrayed. She felt embarrassed. She feels stupid. You ain't question your husband on nothing? I know he had to do some suspect things in this marriage and you ain't have no questions? It's just strange to me that, she announces that she's divorcing him, once the phone calls came out. She says she hasn't spoken to him for a while. And, it just leaves a lot of questions. I can give her some grace because, it's her husband. She was working through her feelings and emotions and what's going on. She's never had to deal with anything like that. So I can give her some grace on that part. But all the rest of the BS that came with her husband, So side note, as I was thinking about doing this video came down my timeline. And I need you all to let me know if you think Ernesto played the long game with Shirley Strawberry, because I truly think he played the long game.
These same women that y'all talking about, right? Successful, house, car, accomplished degree, things of that nature, right? I think they feel like because I've accomplished those things, that what's really wrong with me mentally and my trauma and all of that, people can't see those things. The fact is, as a man, we can see that brokenness in you. And that's what I mean by when you are the person who you need to be, you're going to attract a different caliber of person. But when you broken for real, it don't matter what you accomplish from a material perspective or from the outside perspective. As a man looking at you, I can tell you broken. I can tell you going to be easy. I can tell I can come in there and finesse you, get sex, and get up out the way. Every man can tell that. You don't hide your trauma with him, baby. And that's just the reality of the situation. So that's why they be so confused. They're like, man, I done got all this money, the job, all this. So why I keep attracting this type of man? Because you still broken on the inside and you ain't took the real steps that's gonna be necessary to fix your ass so you can attract a different caliber of person.
So let me just note my sources real quick. This is the Crew season. They're here on YouTube. KREW season, SEASON. But this came down my timeline as I thought about doing this video, and it just fits this situation perfectly. So do you all think Ernesto saw Shirley coming from a mile away and he played the long game? For me, meaning he knew Shirley's status as a radio host. She had coin and she was connected to Steve Harvey, like celebrity status type of stuff. And he wanted to connect himself to all of that. You know, for me, he played the long game. He figured out how to get in her head and make himself believable to Shirley Strawberry. But as the video said, like her trauma, probably he saw that a mile away. He knew he could rope her in. But anyway, let me go on and move on. But it's just crazy. So imagine being a praying woman and believing in your marriage so much that you don't want to believe that your husband is a monster or that he did what he did. Imagine praying with your husband who's in jail and giving him Bible verses to get him through his day or time, as they say. Imagine laying your heart, soul, career, family, and finances on the line for your husband because of your belief in your vow. For better or worse, richer or poorer, sickness and health, love and to cherish till death do us part. Now, ladies, I get standing on your vows, but don't be no fool. Okay, when you see the signs, investigate, and if it ain't working for you, get the hell on out. Okay. At the end of the day, this man played the long game. He saw Shirley Strawberry coming from a mile away, and he put that pimp game on her, okay? I just wonder if he has been abusive to Shirley. Not just physically, but emotionally as well. Although she said, you've been kind to me, you've been nice to me. I mean, I just got questions. That's all I got to say about that part of the phone call. So my second thing that stood out was Shirley and Ernesto talking about the co-defendant and Shirley asking if he knew her. Girl, the delusion. Of course he knew her. His co-defendant is his co-defendant for a reason. Why would you act like I don't know, Shirley, like did you not talk to her? Did you not ask him? Child, maybe he a good liar. I don't know. He admits that he knows her and Shirley had no questions, none. Or she could say, well, she's trying to blame you. You're not the monster that they're trying. Girl, I was just lost. I just thought Shirley came off as so desperate fighting for her man without the facts, just believing in every word that he said. Now, in the beginning, okay. But I want to know how long it took you to come to your senses. Was it the phone calls? Because the phone calls came out? You have been married to this man for 9 years and you ain't seen nothing? Hell, your woman's intuition didn't hit you? I mean, come on. Another thing I would love to know is if Shirley knew about the affairs this man was having. Example, the co-defendant living right next door to them, allegedly. You could not have been that much in love. Love is not that doggone blind, okay? As Tina Turner said, what love got to do with it? Like, you know your spouse. You know your spouse movements. You know when things ain't right and on the up and up or a little off because your mate has a pattern. You ain't see nothing suspicious or out of order or felt nothing. I know I asked that like 50 times in this doggone thing, but I'm exaggerating. But come on now. So how did it feel to Shirley to hear how he talks to the mistress about you, how he wants the mistress to go to the lawyer that you're paying for while you're homeless, carless, funds running low? How did it feel to hear that? The mistress say you have a rich wife. That is downright betrayal. And I know Shirley had to be in a ball crying on the floor or in her bed, one or the other. I'm sure it all made you feel like you were played. I'm sure it was 9 years of lies at this point. I say all this to say, ladies, pray for discernment. If your discernment is off kilter, pray harder, okay? Because a person will show you who they are, and it's up to you to believe it. Lastly, the third thing that stood out for me was the way Shirley talked about her daughter to her husband. It was so disappointing. She said she got things going on in her head, making the assumption that her daughter had mental issues. Shirley talks about how her daughter only calls her when she wants the rent paid, and how her daughter sided with one of her friends, but I'm her mother, I'm your mother. Girl, apparently your daughter saw something about Ernesto that you, Shirley, refused to see. And then Shirley's daughter becomes enemy number one to you over your man. That's just not cool. You feel like she was coming between you and your man. It's just not cool. The fact that Shirley's daughter was able to get a restraining order against Shirley's husband and it raised no red flags for Shirley got me looking at her sideways. You had no questions about that? And it also makes me think like, okay, you paying her rent. Why was you paying her rent? Did she have to move out when your husband moved in? Because she was causing problems between you and your husband? Did you ever investigate what those problems were? Like, I got questions. Then you get on national radio to apologize to Steve and Marjorie Harvey because you was talking to your husband about them, which was not, you didn't even say nothing bad, but you ain't give no apology to your daughter. Shameful. You need to do a national apology to your daughter as well. So that's all I got. In conclusion, the fact that Shirley had no questions for her husband about the charges, why was he arrested, is strange to me. I'm sure she talked to the lawyer about it. I don't know, but on these phone calls, she had no questions. You could say she didn't want to say nothing over the phone, but she ain't had no problem talking about her daughter and her friends and Steve and Marjorie. So she tells her husband that God is revealing it all when it comes down to her family and friends, but you ain't see no revelation when it came to your husband. Did it take these jail phone calls to open your eyes? Then hey, God revealed it to you that way. The truth hit you like a ton of bricks, and now you have to dig yourself out and rebuild at 70 years old, damn near 70 years old, all because of a man, your husband, Ernesto. They said you can't judge a book by its cover, but if you pick it up, damn it, read it.